today what we're talking about is chord scales, namely in triads. This is an excerpt from a book that I wrote about triads and chord construction. I'm working my way through that book, so if you get the book, you can use it in conjunction with this series of videos. Okay, I think this is video number 6, and prior to this, we looked at the inversions of triads. Right, C major triad, and in order to invert a chord, what you do is you take the bottom note and put it up an octave. And then we have our inversion. Take the bottom note, put it up an octave, and so on, right? So inversions, and we went through the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord, and the 1 chord, and all over the fretboard in different inversions. Okay, cool. So now we're at oh, and we actually did the 4 minor chord too. Okay, so you can check that out. You can go back a little bit if this is where you're jumping in. Now, chord scale. So what is a chord scale? A chord scale is what it says, a scale expressed chordally. So in this case, what we have here is a C major scale on the top, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And here in the next staff, we have E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. So we have the same scale except starting a third higher, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, a third higher. And then we have the next staff, and we're starting on the 5th degree of the scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. All right. So if we start by doing that with each degree of the scale, we end up with this. C, E, and G, a C major chord, D, F, and A D minor chord, E, G, and B, and E minor chord. All we're doing is using just the notes of the scale, right? F, A, and C, G, B, and D, A, C, and E, B, D, and F, and again, C, E, and G, like we started an octave lower. So if I played that, C, E, G, D, F, A, tell that, that essentially what we have are 3 scales being played at the same time. When we attack, just for the sake of the nomenclature, when we attack the chords like this, we call them chords, right? When we hear the notes together, when we hear them like this, they're arpeggios. Okay. Moving to the fretboard itself. So what we want to do now is take this idea and spread it over string sets. Today we're going to cover 2 string sets, and I think I'll cover them all in the next video. But for today, this is lots to chew on. We're going to start with the A minor chord because that's the most practical place to start, down here in open position. And these are root position chords. We call them root position chords because the root is in the lowest voice, A, C, E, B, D, F, and so on, right? So this would be an A minor, B diminished, C major, D minor, E minor, and so on. So this, let's carefully work our way up the fretboard. A minor, B diminished, C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, and a repeat of the first one, A minor, again. So that was the first string set, and you can hear that each one of those chords is a part of the scale of C major. And as I mentioned previously, effectively what you're doing is you're playing three scales at the same time. If let's demonstrate that. Let's starting on E on the top. I'm doing that. In the middle, I'm doing that. And on the bottom, and then we're putting all of those together. Now we move to the second string set. And we'll do the same thing. Again, these are root position triads, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and so on. We're going to work our way through string set 2. A minor, B diminished, C major, D minor, E minor, F major, right? Let's do that again. E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, C major, D minor, E minor, F major. Working our way down, F major, E minor, D minor, C major, B diminished, A minor, G major, F major, and E minor. Okay. So, and the same thing, of course, would apply. You're just playing three different scales, working your way up a single string set. In this case, the second string set, strings 2, 3, and 4. The reason this works is because three strings, three chords, three note chords, triads. And then to close, what you can do is you can start to combine the string sets. F, G, F, G, A minor, B diminished, C major, D minor, E minor, right, so maybe come back, A minor, D minor, C major, B diminished, A minor, G major, F major, and E minor. The way you should practice triads is very much the same way that you would practice your scales, right? You take an exercise like this and you start to work on repetition. You can take smaller chunks. That kind of idea, because what you want to do is plant these fingerings into your hands and into your hand in this case. And so on. Work your way through the whole fretboard, be able to cross between the two string sets, and that, you know, that should be that should be a whole bunch to work on and think about. So chords come from scales, and so the scale that we're working through here is the C major scale, with its respective triads through the first two string sets, string set 1 and string set 2, the triads that we will yield in any major scale, are major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished. Right? It doesn't matter if you're in the key of E flat or in the key of A flat or in the key of D major, whatever. It's all going to be the same chords. And if you're playing in the key of D major and you want to play the triads through D major, you're going to be using the same fingerings. Except you'll have the chords D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major. I think that'll give you enough to do and enough to think about. I encourage you to work on triads as part of your practice routine. Triads are not, you know, chord pictures. You know, this kind of idea where you know, get a chord diagram and it tells you where to put your fingers. This is a whole different place, and it's not, you know, rhythm, you know, chords. You know, those should be learned in a very different way as well. But eventually, it sort of all comes together. Triads should really, you know, if I had my way, it would be great if all students started with triads. Because this is a polyphonic instrument. It's meant to play chords, and triads are the place to start. So I hope this was a help to you, and thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you want to support this channel, pick up this book. And since I'm shooting the entire book, you can put the book together with the videos for a more comprehensive approach to your learning how the fretboard works. Thanks again, and see you soon.